Lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's quite a nice day, so it's great to have you with us. And this morning we're going to hear from Ragtag Arts, which is an amazing, I've never been there, but I intend to go there. But it's an amazing looking organisation in Kendal, which Josh and Emily are going to talk to us about. And if you don't know anything about Ragtag Arts, you're going to find out a lot this morning. And we're going to watch a little film about Ragtag Arts, as well as see a few pictures as well. And also we're going to just find out about a venue at Houghton near Carlisle, which is run by Cumbria Wildlife Trust. Gemma is going to talk to us about that and how it might be an opportunity to host some events, some arts and culture events, etc., etc. So we'll hear about that too. So that is the plan for this morning. Hi, Jonathan. But first of all, Kate Parry is the chair, as most of you know, of the Cumbria Arts and Culture Network. And a lot of work goes on behind the scenes to keep this show on the road, to think about what else we could be doing, and to make sure that we're doing the right things for the Cumbrian arts and culture sector in Cumbria as well. And a lot of work has been going on in the background recently with a degree of success, I would suggest. So, Kate, would you like to tell us what's been going on and what evolution is taking place?
Yeah. So anybody who's ever applied to the Arts Council will know that it's not an easy thing to do. But I'm really pleased to say that Cumbria Arts and Culture Network has just been given £30,000 by the Arts Council, project grant success, which is just terrific. It's the first time, I feel like it's, to be honest, it's the first time we've got Arts Council support, and it's just terrific. So let me tell you a little bit about why and what for and so on. Thank you for those applause. It is really exciting, and anybody who knows what it feels like to get one of those grants when a lot of effort goes into it, it is great. And it's quite tricky to persuade people to fund the network because it's it's infrastructure. It's not a thing, if you like. It's not a piece of work. So it is really great news, and we are very pleased. And there are some steering group members here who had an input into it. And I would just like to say thank you to Chris Bridgman and to Amy and to Tom, who all contributed in various ways to submitting the bid. Thank you to them. It was a team effort. So what's it all about? Really, the £30,000 starts now. Oh, hello, Derek. I was just saying that we have been awarded £30,000 by the Arts Council for the network. It is about developing the network.
Yeah, they're always hidden.
It's about developing the network and sustaining what we do, making it a viable proposition, or taking us towards the point where the network is something that will be able to support the culture the culture sector in Cumbria over coming years. In terms of what it means, what we'll be delivering, it's for a programme from now until next summer, so quite a short period of time, but from now till next summer, a programme of training and development opportunities for people across the network. I'm going to hand over to Chris in a minute, who will tell you more about what's coming that we can deliver as a result of this money. Really, it's about putting the network on a different footing. It's about giving it a future and expanding what we do. So part of that is about developing our own income streams a bit better, because up to now, everything that we've done has been for free, pretty much. We've done everything for free, but we need to start to sort of adjust that a little bit and find ways to bring in a bit more money to keep this whole thing going. So that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at. Speaking of getting things for free, I also just wanted to mention the fact that on the 11th of October, we've got our next quarterly meeting. I say quarterly because the observants among you will know that we've actually only doing 2 or 3 a year, which is not quite quarterly, but all the same, the next quarterly is on the 11th of October at the brewery in Kendal, from 9:30 in the morning till 1:30, followed by lunch. It's completely free. It's a chance to get to see everybody face to face, and you really all are very welcome to come. We would love to see you. I'm sure Amy will put the booking link in chat quite soon. There are already almost 40 people booked on. So if you would like to come, please chop and sign up so that we know how many we're catering for. That's the 11th of October at the brewery in Kendal.
And what's it about, Kate?
The subject for the day, because we always like to have something to chew over, is co-creation. What we actually mean by co-creation. How do you do it? How do you do it better, and why it matters? So we've got a range of speakers. For example, the assistant director from Beamish, who is specialises in exactly that, co-creation. We are finalising the programme now, but also topping the bill is Kieran Sheehan and Sam Hunt from We Are Here, the West Cumbria Creative People and Places programme, because that is absolutely what the CPP programmes are all about. There'll be a panel discussion as well with several people on that. For example, Bridget from Mahogany Opera and Helen Stalker, who is the head curator at Lakeland Arts. So a whole range of people. We're still finalising the lineup. It'll be out very, very soon. But in the meantime, please do get booking and we can celebrate a bit more then. Anyway, Chris, tell us what is coming up as a result of the money that we just got.
Okay. Yes, well, it's setting out to be quite a busy autumn. Obviously, we got stuff that we had already planned and were committed to doing, whether we got the Arts Council money or not. And the Arts Council money, as Kate said, is going to sustain and extend what we do and put us on a much more secure footing. So we've already got in the calendar, and lots of people booked for the second round of sectoral meetings, which is an opportunity for people working in the same kind of area of the cultural economy to get together and chew over issues. These are entirely free and online. And the first one's next week, Thursday the 14th, for people involved in visual arts and crafts. And Al Critchlow and Al Cheney will be facilitating that. And then the Thursday the 21st is the music sectoral. That's in the afternoon, in response to feedback we got from the first time round. So we're trying that a bit earlier in the day. And then the third one in the evening of Wednesday the 27th, which is for theatre and kind of non-music performing arts, spoken word, etc., in collaboration with Cumbria Creatives, which is run out of Theatre by the Lake, and Liz Stevenson from Theatre by the Lake and Stefan Istreet of this parish will be facilitating that one on Wednesday the 27th. Completely free, but you do need to just book through Eventbrite so we know who's coming, and you get sent the links to the Zoom details.
Chris,
so
Monique's asking about a writer's one. Is there a writer's one?
Hopefully soon, yes. I mean, it might not be inappropriate for you to join the theatre one. That's quite a broad church, but yes, writers. And also I think we'll be looking to do something that addresses the museum heritage sector. I'm aware that you know, the three that I've mentioned don't cover the whole range of activity in Cumbria, so it's certainly something we're looking to build up further. And then we get into October, and as we've just been talking about, the quarterly meeting in Kendal at the brewery on Wednesday the 11th, which seems to be an unmissable event, I would have said. And then we start in on the stuff that's really being supported by the Arts Council. And rather cutely, the first couple of sessions will be about how to get Arts Council project funding. And it's being delivered by Ian Tabron, who helped us with the successful bid. He is now a sort of freelance consultant, but worked for the Arts Council for years and years and years. So he's got a really good insider knowledge of how to pull the right levers and talk the right language and angle things in the right kind of way to get a good result out of putting all that work into bidding to the Arts Council for project funds. So he's going to do 3 of these sessions, 2 this autumn. The first will be in Barrow and the second in Carlisle. And then in January, we'll have one probably in Kendal. So we're trying to move things around. These are in-person half-day sessions. we're just finalising the exact dates, but it's going to be 2 out of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 16th, 17th and 18th of October. So it'll be Barrow on the 16th or 17th and Carlisle on the 17th or 18th. This will all the full details of this will go live next week. And then the next training opportunity that we're able to provide, thanks to the Arts Council's support, is Rob and Harriet Fraser of Somewhere Nowhere, who's fairly well known to a lot of us here. And they're going to be doing an online session about creative responses to the climate crisis. This is going to be a half-day or possibly early evening session in November, Wednesday, the 22nd of November. Full details, I say, to follow next week, but that should be fascinating. Yes, we will be charging for these. We charged for the fundraising skills sessions that we ran back in the early spring with Christina Poulton. Yeah, it's lovely to be able to do things for free, but obviously everything does cost, and the network does have to operate in a way that is sustainable, but also shows to funders and stuff that we're not just kind of trying to freeload all the way through. Full details coming up shortly. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, so yeah, watch this space for more and more over the next few months, because we're just kind of roll it out as fast as we can get cracking. But thank you very much for all your support and continued enthusiasm. Tom.
So a writers gathering and a dance gathering, ideas to put into the pipeline and think about if we can make those happen. Watch this space. Has anyone got any questions for either Chris or Kate that haven't been put into chat and answered already about any of that stuff?
I should just say, if there are dancers out there, I'd certainly think they could get involved in the theatre sector.
He's put the cat amongst the pigeons there.
Ooh.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris.
Just a little bit.
Maybe we could have a little. I did a lot of Ceilidh dancing at the Shrewsbury Folk Festival quite recently. Maybe we could do. Anyway.
No, I don't think you're qualified to run a dance session.
Okay, fair enough. Right, let's move on with the business of the day. Yeah, a venues one would be good. I think that's a really good point, actually, Claire. But you know, there's a lot of people that run venues in roughly the same way, but not the same way across the county. I think that's a really good one to put into the thinking pot as well. A venues, managers, runners, directors meetup. I think that has a lot of legs. Right, let's now cross to speaking of great venues, Ragtag, and this is Josh Simpson, who joins us, I think, for the first time. Nice to see you, Josh, and Emily with a baby on her lap, who set up Ragtag Arts some time ago, and I think from what I can gather, it's gone from strength to strength. So, Josh, over to you to pick up. We've got your slides ready to go. We've got your film ready to go. You just cue it in when you want us to do that. But lovely to have you with us. Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks so much for having us on. I'm finding this screen thing very strange to get my head around. I can't see myself either in it, so I feel like I don't really know what's going on. But anyway, it's really nice to be here, and thank you for having us. Really, yeah, my name's Josh, and Emmy. I don't know if we would say hi. So we set up Ragtag like about 8 years ago and stuff. We were both sort of working as freelance artists all over the place. Emmy was sort of based up in Cumbria, and I was traveling all over, and we one Christmas, after a bit too much wine, we decided to do something together, and kind of Ragtag was born, or the kind of idea for Ragtag was born, and it's built from then on and on and on. We kind of grew up with scrap stores, and if you don't know what scrap stores are, we'll kind of show you a bit more in the video and stuff. And it really felt like it was something that Kendal and Cumbria needed, so we sort of set out to kind of try and make that happen, really. And we've met loads of amazing people on the way, and our team has grown. And Jane Davis is in the call somewhere. Jane's been working with us massively over the last couple of years, and particularly on our new project, which is the Ragtag Roadshow. So we'll talk a bit about that in a bit as well. I don't know if you want to say anything, Ems, or should we just start with the video?
Start the video. Yeah, go with the video.
It's probably easier.
Emily just got busy. Emily just got busy as soon as you said that, Josh.
Just on cue, Steph's woken up.
Right, so we're going to play a film which is basically explains the story of Ragtag Arts and Community Scrapstore, and Amy's going to do that now.
Is to inspire people of all ages and abilities to reuse, create, and play. And those are the things that kind of run through everything that we do. And trying to inspire people to find new ways of using things rather than using things once and throwing them away. We believe that everybody should have the opportunities and the resources to be creative. It's not always about having to be a professional artist or elite group that kind of take part in those activities. It should be for everyone. And so we want everyone to be able to get involved. As a scrap store, we approach businesses and manufacturers and find out the things that they throw away on a regular basis. We say to them, well, don't chuck it in the bin, don't take it to landfill, give it to us and we'll turn it into creative resources. So the scrap store is a resource centre. All of our activities come out of the scrap store using the materials that we've got to hand. It's open to everyone. You can access these amazing materials, great for school projects, for kind of home crafts. You get all kinds of different textures and shapes and colours.
Volunteering is a massive part of Ragtag, from making the craft kits to sorting scrap to serving customers. We couldn't function without them. They're part of our DNA. It's amazing to work with such a fab group of people. We're really, really lucky that our staff team and our volunteer team has grown quite dramatically in the last year. Currently have 30 volunteers, which includes a lot of adults with learning difficulties and physical disabilities.
Sandgate School are here on work experience. It's absolutely brilliant to come here because they can use knowledge and understanding that they gain in the classroom in an applied setting. The student experience at Ragtag not only helps them with the applied skills and understanding, but it also helps their confidence and their social skills, because customers are coming into store and they interact with these customers, and promotes their communication skills and self-esteem.
Our outreach projects are really about taking the values, the resources, the creativity of the scrap store, of our centre, out into the community, to people that might not come to an art centre. So we work in schools, we work with festivals and events, we work in community centres with youth projects. Our workshops range from giant cardboard installations, a mad junk mini golf course, a gallery experience where we bring art and painting to life. All of our events workshops have this element of scrap and repurposing at the kind of core of them. And it's all about empowering people to work out how we can use these kind of materials.
Loose parts play comprise weird, wonderful and durable items which we have diverted from landfill. These are amazing kits for bringing creativity into schools. They're super for creating teamwork, encouraging all sorts of collaborative and critical thinking skills. When you see the children playing with the kits, it just brings you such joy. We provide affordable artist studio spaces which offer really lovely, light, spacious spaces for artists, but I think more importantly a kind of artist community. What's lovely and what people love about it is that they come to work and there's people here to bounce off creative ideas and something to share your lunch break with. We've just taken on a new building and we now have 3 much larger studios over in that space which have gorgeous light, and we're really excited about getting new artists to fill those spaces too. Last year we set up our ceramic studio, so we're really lucky to have 2 kilns, an electric wheel and a kick wheel, a lovely light making space and a kind of glazing room.
Having just finished a ceramics course, myself and the other people that I've met there, we want to carry on making pottery. It's really important that it's accessible for everyone. It makes it just not an elitist hobby, which is hugely important.
It's great having a cafe right at the heart of our building. I think, for us, community is really central to who we are, and actually being able to stop makes kind of coming here more of an experience, more of something you can come out for the day. You don't just need to pop and do your shopping. come and have a cake, come and have a coffee. Art resources, paper, pens, paint, all this stuff, it's expensive. So I think to have a space where you can come and access materials at a really affordable price is really important for people.
Encouraging creativity is so important. Children need those creative and critical thinking skills to succeed in the future.
I do feel very proud that we have made an amazing community of incredible people, from artists to volunteers to customers to schools. The amount of waste that we have diverted, but I think especially the friendships that have been formed.
I'd recommend anybody to come and just find out what it is we offer here. Come and say hi, get involved. There's something here for everyone.
Okay.
What a lovely little film. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Emily.
On cue, somebody just knocked at my front door.
So we thought obviously you can see that there's sort of a lot of stuff that we do, but we thought we'd just kind of chat to you about a few things that we're looking for, sort of like partnerships with, and sort of things that might be useful to people. So obviously, the Scrapstore is kind of it's kind of like the heart of everything that we do. So everything kind of comes out of that. Oh no, don't cry. So everything from like all our kind of workshops that we do, all our kids stuff, all of our event program, the volunteers, like nothing would happen without the kind of the Scrapstore in the kind of middle. So I don't know how many of you have been to the Scrapstore, but as you can kind of see from the video, it is basically sort of a warehouse full of all kinds of weird and wonderful things that we collect from different businesses sort of around the county, and then we swap with sort of wider scrap stores sort of around the country. So often if I'm going down to see my nanny in Southampton, I'll take a van load of scrap down and come back with a van full of stuff from Southampton scrap store or whatever. And then our kind of volunteer programs, so we call it so it's Remake, and so we have a lot of volunteers. We have we work with Sandgate School and Winfell School and a few others. So we've got about 30 guys with learning difficulties that kind of work with us on a kind of weekly basis. And then we also have other volunteers that kind of come in and help with sort of maintenance and putting together kits and that kind of stuff. And so we put together these craft kits. It's sort of one of the things that they do. So they sort the scrap and make different kits from stuff that we sell in the shop to then we kind of do like big orders. So we're making 150 Christmas packs up that will be distributed by the food banks in December and stuff. So we do kind of bigger kind of orders like that. We've done kind of smaller runs for people, like say Lakeland Arts had a load of kits that we made for them in the summer. Oh yeah, these are slides. So yeah, just to sort of make you aware that if you ever needed kind of kits and stuff from us, that's something that we can kind of do, and we're kind of keen to kind of spread our kits sort of like round the county so that people can kind of access them in different kind of places. So yeah, here's a few examples of some of the kits that the guys have made, and they are like 100% from scrap. So all the packaging, everything in them is from scrap. So yeah, so that's about our volunteer program, and then I'll let Josh chat to you about the next slide is about the roadshow.
So I think one of the things to sort of mention about the volunteering project is that what that sort of enabled us to do as a community, as a sort of organization is all, there's two sides to it. There's this lovely community that's being built and these amazing experiences that people getting through, learning new skills, building friendships, like gaining like really valuable work experience, and that's from our volunteers. It's developing our staff and our sort of staff volunteers, but what also it's doing is the volunteers are and that team are enabling us to be able to expand what we can offer out in the community and stuff. So, you know, there's no way we'd be able to make the kits that we make without that kind of that driving motor, that group that are making and creating things. And so that has sort of almost fed into this brand new project as well that we've launched last year, which is the Ragtag Roadshow. So what we've been doing festivals and events for quite some years now, but we always sort of felt like that there was a bit of a disconnect between what we took out to festivals and into the community and the scrap store itself. And what we really wanted to do was try and bring those two worlds together. And actually, you know, when we rocked up at an event, when we came to a school where we worked with the community, that actually we could take the scrap store with us. And so we applied for Arts Council funding sort of April time last year, and we were awarded it kind of just into the summer last year. And again, you know, it's that thing, you spend all this time writing these bids and things, and it is sort of, you put your heart in your mouth really, and it was so amazing to be awarded the money to actually make it happen. And really this last 12 months we've been kind of doing loop-the-loops, trying to work out what this thing is, what it's gonna be, what it means and stuff. So myself and Jane work really closely together, and you know, really sort of start to think about like what the narrative of the Ragtag Roadshow was about, and stuff, what we wanted to bring, and stuff. And so the kind of the roadshow consists of Scrappy the van, which is you can see on the slide. So this was an old caravan that was sort of ripped apart and rebuilt, and again, so much of that has been made out of reclaimed materials. There are these two characters, Rag and Tag, so you can see little pictures of them in the slide. So we really wanted to kind of personify the message of Ragtag, and create these characters that kind of explored this world of reuse, creativity, and play. And so, in a sense, the caravan, the Scrappy van, is kind of their home. It's their play space. It's the place where they kind of create from, and stuff. And so, the kind of narrative of the roadshow is it's their scrap store, it's their home, it's their place where they kind of come and play. And so, you know, the characters open up the scrap store. There's themes of sort of friendship and learning from each other. There's loads of collaboration. We play with recycled materials and turn things like junk into kind of creative ideas. And then the children and the audience are invited into that world, so that the children will then go shopping in the scrap store and collect their materials to make their creations. Surrounding the roadshow, there's the Loose Parts garden, and we'll talk about Loose Parts in a bit. But that is like this kind of big play space made out of all these kind of junk resources and things, and so it becomes this kind of pop-up mini festival space, really. And it's been we've been touring it with this summer. So we've been out to all kinds of places. We've been kind of to the sort of west coast of Cumbria, so we work with Moncaster Castle quite a bit. we were at Eskfest. We worked with schools right across Cumbria to kind of help design the roadshow, and so all the schools that engaged in that design project, we went and visited them and did assemblies with them. Went to Kendal Calling, going to be at Kendal Torchlight and the Kendal Light Switch on. We've been down in Lancashire, up in Carlisle at Tully House. So it's been really exciting seeing it play out in loads of different setups, from huge festivals like Kendal Calling to micro events. We spent an afternoon in a local brewery where they had a family event, and tiny little event, but it was so gorgeous seeing it kind of used in these different contexts. So we're quite excited about what happens next with the roadshow. We're sort of coming to the end of this season, we've got a few more things lined up. So we're off to Muncaster Halloween Festival, and we've got the Christmas lights and a few more kind of light up events planned in the winter. But we're now starting to think about, well, what does the roadshow look like for next year and stuff. So that kind of conversation is kind of going on. But we'd really love to work with other organizations, other venues. It's a really great way of being able to kind of bridge that third wall. So if you've got a venue space and you want to sort of step out into the community, it's a great pop-up thing that can cross those boundaries. And so the Loose Parts Play, part of the slide that's come up now. So the Loose Parts Play is a huge part of the Ragtag Roadshow. It's but it's also a kind of a big project in its own right. So Rachel, who was speaking in the film, she heads up our Loose Parts Play project, and so it's really about supporting that kind of imaginative and constructional kind of processes for children, and creating a play space that isn't kind of contrived. So it isn't, this is how this thing works, this is a castle and you have to do it like this. It's about allowing children to really kind of expand and develop ideas, but using the kind of rawest kind of junk materials. So it's it's crates, it's guttering, it's nets, it's all kinds of big kind of outdoor friendly, durable junk items. So all of these items are diverted from landfill. So we contact businesses, and Rachel goes around all kinds of different places, trying to find things that we think will work really well. So what we've started doing is we've been developing loose parts trolleys, which you can see a picture of one of them in the slide. And so this is a kind of an edited kit, in a sense, that we have been taking out to schools. So I think there were, at least 60, correct me if I'm wrong, Emmy, 60, potentially 65 schools across Cumbria that now have a loose parts trolley. And with the trolley, we deliver training. So Rachel delivers that in schools and our centre, looking at the kind of ethos behind Loose Parts Play. So about sort of saying yes to ideas, about teaching technical skills, finding solutions for joining and building things, and about kind of collaboration and cooperation.
Just a few minutes left, Josh.
Yeah, no worries.
And then any questions, obviously, off the back of it too.
We're really excited about sort of seeing how that kind of moves in the future, really. And one of the things that we're looking at is so we've been taking loose parts into schools, but it'd be really great to look at how we connect with other cultural venues and stuff. So we're looking at how that looks as well. So we'd definitely be up for working with other organisations about maybe bringing loose parts to you. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Sorry, we talked a lot about all these different things, but
Can I ask Jane, what's your are you a volunteer there, Jane?
No, I'm a freelance creative.
Okay, tell us what you do.
Yeah, so my background is theatre, but more and more it's been about community engagement. So I met Josh probably 7 or 8 years ago, and we thought it'd be nice to do something together. And then finally we worked on the Ragtag Roadshow. So I helped write the bid, and I'm the one with blue hair. So yeah, so we've been bouncing around Cumbria, sort of doing reuse, create and play for the last 12 months.
Jane wrote the scripts, and so a lot of the kind of the world that we created, a lot of that came from Jane and our play together, really, and stuff. Yeah, it's been a little baby of ours that we've been working on.
Has anyone got any questions for either Josh or Emily or Jane? Claire?
Yeah, I mean, I would be really interested in hosting a roadshow, but what do you need from the venue?
Do you want to tell people what you do, Claire?
Oh, sorry. I do all the programming for Reg Ed in Penrith.
Okay.
So we've got a great space that I could say, oh, you could be based here for the day. We could even tie it in with another event, but I'm not clear really on what I would need to provide as a venue for you to get you interested in coming to us.
So in terms of logistically, it is a self-contained thing. If we were bringing the shows to a venue, all we need is to be able to plug in power, and then everything else we have. So we've got the gazebos, we've got the caravan, we've got the chairs and tables. So everything, we bring everything with us, really. So all you really need is an audience, and that can be a select audience for a 2-hour session, or it could be a drop-in audience that was there for the day, and kind of dropping in and out. The roadshow itself is an outdoor event. We do also run other things that work well indoors. So, for example, the Magi mini golf is a fantastic indoor activity, and stuff. But the roadshow is an outdoor space. So it's just space, really, that you'd need.
Okay, so maybe I've got your details here, so I'll drop you a line. My other question was around sometimes we produce big waterproof banners to promote something, and it's something that can't be recycled. Is that something that is I'm talking like 14 meters long, and it's like, oh God, it's just such a useful thing to promote a forthcoming exhibition or an exhibition that's on, but we feel really awful every time we produce them, because it's like, what do we do with it afterwards?
Yeah, we'd definitely take stuff like that. Just drop them in.
Okay, brilliant.
They make perfect tote bags and all kinds of things. So yeah,
tablecloth, kind of, anything. Yeah, same.
Okay, fab.
That's good news. Is there anything else? Does Ragtag Arts get syndicated and replicated across the country, or are you one of a kind, one of a sort?
Yeah, so like the Scrapstore bit, there's a whole network of scrap stores across the whole country, and we kind of work as a kind of collaborative network. So as I said, like swapping scrap. So for example, Lakeland donate a lot of stuff to us, but we might get like 12 pallet loads of purple boxes, which is obviously it's a lot for us to take, but then I'll trade with another scrap store. So there's one, there's one in Blackburn, there's one, there's Leeds, it's got a really big scrap store, Glasgow got a scrap store, and we meet up and kind of have like big multi swaps or just individual kind of swaps. But then what kind of goes on around the scrap store kind of depends on different places. So some are just a scrap store, some are like tiny little micro scrap stores, some are massive, some have other community elements that like some like link with food banks, some link with much more kind of arts based stuff. So there's lots of us.
Okay, sounds like
the roadshow
of a
The
Saturday morning?
roadshow is completely unique. That's the first one.
Okay.
We
Okay.
And we've been taking the roadshow to other scrap. So when we were in Preston, it was part of a new Scrapstore launch. So we went to Preston to support them in launching a new Scrapstore.
Okay. Helen's asking whether you take burst paddling pools. Could you upcycle a burst paddling pool?
Probably not. And so generally, when we take stuff, we kind of try and take stuff in kind of multiples of. So, for example, the banner stuff you're talking about, I've got loads of other banners. So that kind of go. What we kind of don't want to be is sort of a kind of, so we're not a charity shop, or so we don't take sort of bric-a-brac or clothing or kind of faulty items that are kind of one-offs. But we do take, so like haberdashery, wools, like packaging. But if it's, so I wouldn't take one box from you, but if you've got 50 boxes all the same, I'd take those, if that makes sense. So,
yeah,
so the idea is then like
I wasn't meaning that I would give you like junk to kind of do. I was meaning that in terms of it being the fabric and bright colours, and I know that lots of people have that issue with burst paddling pools. And I was also kind of thinking, maybe I should probably talk about this on a private call. I was just thinking, do you want this to be promoted? Is it because it's such a problem with I'm a marketing person, and marketing materials, as Claire from Regard was just saying, how much can we collectively send to you, but then that's opening a massive thing that you might
and if I'm honest, it's really subjective as to what we take. And if actually you talk to me, or you talk to Josh, or you talk to Claire, we probably all have different answers to go, like Josh will be like, yeah, I'll take your paddling pool, and I'll be like, I'm not sure that they were. I guess what we don't want to do is take stuff that we can't pass on. So it's I guess it's us thinking, is that useful or not? And I guess it's quite a subjective line on that.
Okay, we're going to have to move on shortly, but Danielle's got a question. Danielle, come off mute.
I've never been to your place, but I think it's amazing. It's been really good just to see and hear everything that you're doing. It's also inspiring, like from being creative artist practitioners originally, and then doing the Scrapstore, and then the journey of having the additional things to help it self-sustain, the cafe and the studio spaces, and then how you've developed over the 8 years to go out and reach more people, to change patterns and behaviours of recycling, reloving and reducing landfill. So I just wanted to say, great, that was all. So thank you. It's really good.
Oh, thank you. Come and visit.
That's well said, Danielle.
Oh, I'm from Barrowful, by the way, and I do a lot of recycled media and bar work as well for the last 20 odd years. So yeah, really.
So just to conclude then, as the lovely black cat walks across Donna's desk, just remind us, where are you in Kendal, Josh?
So we are in Millbank Mill Industrial Estate. So if you in Kendal, if you go out from Morrison's up the Shap Road, we're on your right, or if you go up the Applebury Road, we're on your left. But there's signposts from the main roads.
And we might talk on about October the 11th, when obviously the quarterly meeting is taking place at the brewery in Kendal. I wonder whether people might want to just, if you're around, if you're open, you might entertain 1 or 2 people dropping by and seeing what you do. But we can we can pick up on that off this call. Thank you ever so much for sharing that with us, Josh and Emily. It must be blooming hard work, I reckon, and Jane. But I bet it's really satisfying, but not without its, questions, queries, and tribulations about how you should do new things. But the roadshow looks fantastic. I help organise Cockermouth Live, as do Chris and Kate on this call. I'm thinking maybe it's something that we could look into for next year for Cockermouth Live, which is in early July. Anyway, thank you so much, and good luck with continuing your amazing work. Stick around though, because we're going to now, of course, we're just going to shoot up the M6 to Houghton, where Gemma is based with the Cumbria Wildlife Trust, which is I'm a member. It's a great organisation. And there's a lovely building. And Gemma, tell us a bit more about what happens there and what could happen a bit more there, if that's what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I thought, well, I mean, I know we'd offered it to you guys like as a space, but obviously what we're doing here is kind of changing and evolving all the time, really. So we've initially began We've got a couple of big meeting rooms where they're being rented out. One's used by a yoga class, so they're in every day, and they're rented out to like similar like-minded groups. So the Mencap Society use it quite a bit, and a few different wildlife watch groups, the beekeepers, a stroke support group, and the newspaper for the blind also use it. So it's rented out by a lot of community groups and like-minded groups who are doing similar work as us and are supporting nature and wildlife in the community, really. So we're trying to establish the Cumbria, the northern area of the trust, as having a site that is a hub for nature and the community and for well-being. So we're even setting up at the minute a Men in Sheds group, which would be the first one in the county up in this end of our county. So that'd be nice.
So is it a new building, Gemma?
Yeah, it was built in about 2019. So yeah, 2019, this was completely barren. It was ex-farmland.
And what's
So
its kind of capacity?
The rooms can be rented out. Sorry, I'm right next to a water heater. The rooms can be rented out for, I think the big room can have up to about 50 people in it, and the smaller room can have about 15 because it's got tables and things in it. But they're rented out for lots of different things. Really depends how many, whether you want seated or whether you want tables and things. So at the minute, this week, for 2 weeks now, the Eden Arts group are in there. They've got all their stuff displayed all around the walls and all around our entrance section. So where that wooden part is on the left-hand side, you go down the side, the door's there, and it comes into like a lobby area. So their art is all up in there for their exhibition. So part of the art trail that's going around at the minute, people are popping in and out, and obviously they're using this as their hub. So that's one of the things that we've been doing. But lately as well, we've begun offering a sort of, we're calling it a hybrid exhibit, which actually Ursula, who's on the call, is doing. Hi, Ursula. Where we've got a few artists who are hanging pieces up on our walls, because where our walls were a bit blank and boring and barren, we've now got lovely, lovely artwork, which ties in with a lot of what we do. So it's mostly nature-based or using very recycled products or amongst the themes of that artist's work, but they're hanging them up here. Basically, we're not charging them and they're not charging us back. And it's just they come down when they want, they go back up when they want. So it's very fluid. But it means that they're getting to the artwork seen by a lot of different people. And we obviously get to see the nice artwork every day when we come in. So it works quite well to promote local and smaller artists that aren't doing big, large-scale exhibits all the time. They can pop a few pieces here that just stay here. It's basically like glorified storage while they're here getting seen by a lot of different people. And yeah, so that's the other option that's been really successful so far. We've had a lot of people come and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know who this artist was, because it's just a network that they've not been exposed to before. So it's working really well. And we're linking with obviously other places who are then linking with us, who then link with the artists. So it's working really well so far.
Okay. All right. So the reason for you coming on this morning was just to allow people to know about it. And if anyone's interested in exploring a bit more detail with you about the facilities and the practicalities and whether they can make something happen, should they contact you directly, Gemma?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just find me across an email and you can ask any questions you want, or you can discuss with me what your needs are and whether we can make it work, because we've got a great venue and a great space that's growing and we're very flexible about it. So
is it near the garden centre?
Yes, it's just up the road from the garden centre.
Okay,
yeah.
I know where it is. Yeah, okay. Well, if you want to pop your details into chat, Gemma, that would be great. I think Amy's got a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Gemma, thanks for coming on. I think it's a really interesting space, and there's lots of sort of artists and artist groups, that might not be on this call, but that I know that would be really quite interested in using it.
Yeah.
So basically, it sounds like you've got artists that can come in and out, on an ongoing basis, but then is the space available for, say, a group exhibition or an individual exhibition for, say, a 2-week period where it's just that artist or just that sort of exhibition?
Yeah, that's something that it can be an option. It's just I have to discuss it with, depending on what space they want to use. So if they wanted to use like the main room, for instance, because we have a regular booking in it, we'd have to adjust how it looked and how it worked for them.
Yeah.
So like the group that's in it now, they've got it for 2 weeks, but they don't have anything on the floor space. It's all on the walls, and anything floor space wise is in the lobby. so we adjusted it to make it work for both groups.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a discussion of whether if somebody wanted full scale and they had big pieces that needed a lot of floor space, then it'd be a different area. So it would be a case of, if I can make it work, then we're game.
And is it, obviously, I know you mentioned like the themes of nature and environment, which, you know, I know lots of artists work around that theme, but is that something where you want that to be the theme? If somebody came along with an exhibition that actually had nothing to do with, you know, those sort of themes, would that be a problem? Or
no, it wouldn't necessarily be a problem. It's literally just that most of those things obviously quite fit with the ethos of the charity, and obviously it just works quite nicely. It wouldn't rule out that artist or their work at all. It's just finding like-minded people and artists in that way. That makes sense.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Hi, Monique. Yeah, there is a great organic compost demonstration
great.
site.
If you like your composting and organic gardening, then it sounds like there's some stuff there that will be up your street too. So that sounds great. Well, thank you, Gemma. You've put your contacts into chat, so if anyone wants to pick that up, then feel free to do so. And who knows where we might go from that. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay, so what time is it? It's 10:25. Just looking ahead to next week. Next week, I'll be not here. Chris will be in the chair, and a chance to find out again about the lovely Round the Island Art Trail that Alison Critchlow organises in North Cumbria. 6 or 7 fantastic studios to visit there. And also we're going to go deeper into the Sankey exhibition, which opened last night in Barrow at Signal Media. We're going to hopefully see lots of images from that, and a chance to ask some questions about how you can access it online as well, because I know a lot of it's gone globally on the internet now, and you can probably dig out some wonderful old photographs of your part of Cumbria, or part of Cumbria and beyond Cumbria that you're interested in. Helen was talking about this before we started the call this morning. Sounds fascinating. I love that kind of stuff. So we'll find out about the Sankey exhibition and where that's going next week as well. Thanks to everybody for joining this morning. I'm just picking up in chat while I'm talking to you if I sound a bit hesitant. As Lavinia says, yeah, Ragtag, the most excellent space to work and to engage with the gang. So great to see the community projects like this taking off. Some really nice warm comments about Ragtag, Josh and Emily and Jane. So thank you very much for sharing that all with us. I learned loads this morning about Ragtag, and I'm sure lots of other people did too. And it's fantastic what you do. And I hope you get support from people around Cumbria as well. So thank you. Right, so enjoy the weekend. I think this warmth is with us for a bit longer, so enjoy it if you can get outside. Nice to see everybody, and catch you again. Well, I'll catch you again in a fortnight, but Chris will be in the chair with Amy next week. So nice to see you all. Thanks a lot, everybody.